Om Shanti, Sister Shivani, how are you?
Om Shanti, good morning and congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor and a blessing and a privilege to have you. How are you doing?
Very fine. Thank you so much. Ira, I don't
Sister
know anything
Shivani,
about
yes.
physical. I said I don't know anything about physical yoga. Huh?
No, Sister Shivani, you are yoga, so you know everything about yoga.
Uh,
But we are
it's
going to be
more
speaking
about,
about
yeah,
um, today's topic for you is being love. How to not being
yeah,
yoga. Well, being love is part of being love. Being yoga is just
of
like your
course.
book. It's about how to deal
Uh,
with challenging relationships during COVID-19. But Sister Shivani, I just want to, we are live now on Facebook and people are joining in. So I want to just begin by introducing you, even though you don't need an introduction to our audiences. On today's stream, we're reaching about 1 million people via Facebook, via our partners Shamaru, Tata Sky, and NewsX as well. So thank you again for sharing, for coming on giving us your precious time and coming on with us. It's um, it's a very interesting time because the lockdown has just been extended. So I think all of us do need as much inspiration, as much motivation as we can get. Um, and Sister Shivani, I just want to begin by telling our audiences that the purpose why Sister Shivani has given us her time is to raise funds for those who are less who have less than we do. We are raising funds for migrant workers who are on daily wages, who right now may not have homes, may not have food to eat, and we're trying to reach as many people across India. So please find it in your heart to give a little bit of something, even if it's just 150 rupees via our Facebook campaign, Social for Good. There's a button at the bottom of the screen on the Ira Yoga Wellness page, or you can go onto the website, beingyogafestival.org. Now, Sister Shivani needs no introduction. She is really an inspiration for so many households. She's a global speaker, an author, and so many other things. Sister Shivani really is personally my ideal and the definition of not only doing yoga through various ways, whether it's physical or meditation, but about being yoga. But Sister Shivani, the first question to you is, why is it important to give? You know, why should I give 200 rupees? Isn't it better for me to buy something for myself or for my family or for my children? Why should I really give it to someone else? And shouldn't I leave that job up to people who are really very rich?
First and foremost, Om Shanti, good morning and congratulations for this beautiful initiative and lots of blessings to you for organizing this because this is also giving. There is a lot of ways of giving. The energy of giving means seva. And really, it's in our culture, it's in the Sanskriti of this country to give, to do seva. So, and actually, human nature also is to give. Even if you see nature, Prakriti, everything is giving. Just its way of living is giving to people. And if we see our ancestors, whom we call Devi Devtas, we say Hamare Purvaj, Devi Devtas. So the word Devi Devta means dene wala, to give. And that's why when we look at their pictures and the idols, the hands are like this, which means with both the hands, they are only giving. There's nothing like this. It's always like this. And giving means seva. So there are different ways of giving. One is tan se seva, which means physically we do something for people, always. Second is dhan se seva, which means we financially contribute. And like you rightly said, it's never about the amount. It's never. Sometimes we think, oh, but I can give only 100, I can give only 1,000. It's never about the amount. It's about the intention, the vibrations. So tan se seva, physical seva, dhan se seva, financial seva, and man se seva, which means seva through the power of mind. That's also a very important seva needed right now, that each one of us needs to take care of our mind, think right, feel right, speak right, so that we heal the world and we heal the minds of people who are little sad, upset, fearful, We need to heal them by radiating vibrations of purity and power. So this is the time of only seva, nothing else. It's only seva. So tan se, dhan se, man se, always seva. Why should we give? Because actually it's only giving in which we receive. We never receive by seeking and asking. Soul power, our inner power will only increase when we give, because giving is our nature. It's like a tree. It gives oxygen. But giving oxygen is actually the reason for the growth of the tree. If the tree stops giving oxygen and says, oxygen is for me, I'm not going to send it out into the planet, you see what will happen to the tree. And that's what happened to the human beings, for all of us. We stopped giving love, we stopped giving happiness, we stopped giving peace, and we said, I want happiness, I want love, I want peace. And that's the reason why we are still not contented, because we are standing this side. When we stand this side, we will be contented. And most important is, when you do seva, you get so many blessings from everybody. So even if someone contributes 100 rupees, it's going to reach to a family. It will give them meals 3 times a day for 4 days. And when you have to just visualize it. When that little child in that house will have that lunch, will have that one chapati, that feeling of being taken care of, being protected, that feeling is positive, pure energy, and that radiates to the one who was becoming instrumental for that happening. So you will not know where your contribution is going, but wherever it's going, your money and your intention both are going to the people. And in return, you're going to get so much calm. So the easiest way to take care of your mind and body right now is to do seva. Do seva and accumulate lots and lots of blessings for a lifetime. You know, जब किसी को दुख में कोई सुख देता है, it's an investment of blessings for a lifetime. It's not just blessings now, it's blessings for a lifetime.
Wow, thank you, sister. This means so much, not to just me personally, but all of our team members who've been working to put this together, and to everyone listening. I think you have really motivated many people to give just a little bit. Now, Sister Shivani, switching gears a little bit, this is a time of turbulence. All our schedules have been completely topsy-turvy. People who go to the office are not going to office. Children are not going to schools. Many people can't even leave their houses, so they're in a small confined spaces with the same people in your face all the time. And this is creating a huge amount of challenge to relationships. I mean, many couples are separated, so one person is taking care of the family. Parents are separated from their, grown-up elders are separated from younger people. So there's a lot of, challenging relationships that are coming around. How should we cope? What are some ways of dealing with some difficult relationships in this time where there's no place to even vent? Earlier you could go outside for a walk or step outside and go to the mall, but that's not possible anymore. All you have is your house, and you don't even have any privacy anymore for most households.
First and foremost, it's not difficult relationship. So we don't call the relationship difficult. It is the people in the relationship. What's a relationship? It's a connection between two minds. So two minds are in that relationship, which means the energy that each one radiates to the other one is going to create the energy between those two people, and that's the energy of the relationship. Now, it's not about whether we are spending time with each other. Earlier, we were hardly being able to spend time with each other, and we were saying relationships are breaking because we are not spending time enough with each other. Now we are saying relationships are breaking because we are not moving away from each other. So always the blame is going on something outside. Earlier, everyone used to say relationships are not strong because we are not spending enough time with each other. So now you have all the time to strengthen your relationships, which were weak because of that reason. But now we found another reason. So this is our psychology, where we're always blaming a situation for what is not going right in our life. It's not the situation. It was not about we were not spending enough time, and it's not about we are too much together. It's about the state of mind. If I'm emotionally weak, then my power to tolerate, my power to accept, my power to respond right when someone behaves a certain way, my power to forgive, my power to let go of the past is like depleted. because there is no strength here. It's same like physical fitness. If someone's doing a physical exercise, a yoga daily, then they can handle all changes in weather, changes in water, changes in food, because their whole system is so healthy. So they're able to adapt to any change outside. Now, you won't say this is a miracle. This is just normal because they take care of their body on a daily basis. Anything taken care of will give you the right result. Now, for someone who doesn't take care, doesn't eat well, doesn't sleep well, doesn't exercise, they will have a low immunity system. Natural. Same for the mind. The need of the hour, along with doing your physical, do your emotional taking care, which means take care of the mind. Because two people with fear and anxiety, with insecurity of the future, with their sanskars of anger and hurt, are now together for 24/7.
Yeah.
So obviously they're not in the best energy fields to connect with each other. They are not. So they don't have to work on the relationship. They just have to start taking care of their mind. All that every family needs to do is keep 30 to 60 minutes in the morning for healing mind and body. Just heal mind and body in the first hour of the morning. Rest of the day, your relationships, your work, your everything will go perfect. Because who's going to do all that? The mind and the body. So it's like a phone. The phone can do everything. Our phone does communication, photographs, video, shopping, everything, only if the phone is charged. Same phone not charged is nothing but a box. It can do nothing. So the mind is like that battery. If charged, mental health, emotional health, physical health, relationships, profession, the planet, everything will be beautiful. Not charged, everything is gone wrong. Everything is going wrong. So I personally feel if we create the right thoughts, we have happiness, health, harmony in relationships, and heaven on earth. That is what we can do with power of our mind. When we don't have, then we have depression, diabetes, divorce here, and we know what we're doing to the planet. It's all starting from this battery. All starting from the battery. Yeah.
Sister Shivani, you made a very good point here that take an hour for yourself and for your family every morning. So could we tell our viewers and your listeners how exactly to do that? So when they come away from this talk, they know that these are some very practical things that I can follow. This is how I have to follow them. And this is how I can accomplish this healing of the body and of the mind. So could we chart down something for them to take away?
Yeah, it's very simple. First thing in the morning, don't look at your phone screens. So that's one habit. One habit. No phone screens, no TV. Now we need to understand why not to do that. Because we have the power to create our thoughts and feelings of our choice. We have been blaming situations for our emotions. Even today, everyone is saying fear and anxiety is normal. Why is it normal? Because there's a crisis outside. But the crisis is outside. This is our choice. We can create calm here in a crisis outside. But we didn't know that our mind is independent of situations because we've lived our life blaming situations for how we were feeling. So first thing in the morning, if we read the newspaper or we switch on our phone, then we consume the world in the first few minutes. 6 hours of sleep, silent mind, blotting paper, highest absorption, and you consume the world first thing in the morning. And once you consume the world, your ability to create your own choice feelings ends because you've consumed the world onto this mind here. So at least for an hour, there should be no phone. At least for an hour. And that's how life used to be when we didn't have phones, The first morning hours were for ourselves till we went to school or till we went to work. That morning time was for ourselves. But now because we have the phone, we are at work with our first thought in the morning. So we should not be at work in the first hour in the morning, which means no work communication. You're not to check which emails came last night and not connecting to the world through media or social media. So that's the first absolute no in the morning, because yoga means connection. So connection has to be with the mind, connection has to be with the body, Connection has to be with God. But early morning we do yoga with the world, which means we connect to the world and we absorb the world inside. So that's also a
Yeah.
yoga. So first yoga should not be with the world. We have the rest of the day to connect with the world. First hour yoga is with the mind, body and God. So no technology. First hour in the morning. First few thoughts of gratitude. It's very important to tune in your mind to the frequency of gratitude in the morning. Then you will complain less during the day. Two Hindi words, Shukriya, Shikayat.
Mm.
Shikayat is a
Mm.
low vibration, Shukriya is a high vibration. Tune into that frequency in the first thought in the morning. There's so much to be grateful for. Just say it all in the morning. Yeah. And then create a list of few affirmations, which means thoughts of who you want to be, how you want your body to be, and create that as your first few thoughts then. Then about 30 minutes at least of a spiritual study, which means watch, read, or listen high vibrational, pure content. Because whatever will go in will become here. It's our emotional diet, what we watch, read, listen. So very pure, divine, powerful content. Like you said about couples and relationships, if every couple, first thing in the morning, consumes content of acceptance, expectations will reduce. Consumes content of love, attachment and dependency will reduce. Consumes content of forgiveness, hurt will be over. It's all about what you put inside here in the first 30 minutes of the morning. So first 30 minutes study, spiritual study and meditation, and then 30 minutes, or you will share best, about physical yoga. 60 minutes for this mind and body, and the foundation of life is set. And same care to be taken in the last 30 minutes before we go to sleep. That time is also very important, because morning will be right only if we slept right. So
Mm.
sleeping is very important, and which means slow down your mind before you sleep. You know how you teach people Yog Nidra? That they are supposed to slow down their mind. Only then they will be able to sleep. But if a person is checking their work emails till 10 o'clock,
Yeah.
11 o'clock in the night,
Yeah.
how will they slow down their mind? They are
Yeah.
stimulating their mind by thinking more.
Mm.
So no work communication after 8 o'clock in the evening. Then you will be able to sleep right at 10 o'clock. So 8
Mm.
o'clock cut off from work communication, 9 o'clock cut off from news, social media. Then by 10 o'clock, the mind would have slowed down, and then meditate or study for the last 10 minutes. Powerful sleep, you will need less sleep, less hours of sleep needed, and more energizing. Only these two times of the day need to be taken care of. The world will change.
So, recap for everyone listening, these are very, very valuable gems of wisdom, not only for this difficult time, but for a lifetime. No social media as soon as you wake up. Try not to consume any sort of media, news, no phones in general for the first 1 hour minimum. And try to utilize the first 30 minutes with spiritual study, with affirmations, and with gratitude. So affirmations could be what you want your day to look like, what you want your month to look like, what you want your life to look like, and saying a few thoughts of gratitude and beginning your day with that sort of thought, and then taking the same practice towards the end, last 30 minutes of the day, in which we're just going to, again, turn off our phones, turn off social media, and spend that last 30 minutes with yourself in some sort of spiritual study, whether that's ideally reading and not looking at a screen or a TV, and trying to relax, and maybe end with a little bit of meditation. And I know in also Shiv Baba has said that you should also make a list of your day and what has happened throughout the day. And this is something also which is a good practice to do before you sleep. I remember that. So these are
Yes,
some practices advised by Sister Shivani, which everyone should follow. And for the last 5 minutes of our conversation, before we take questions from our audience, I just want to, one thing which is happening is a lot of fear. There's so much fear now with the lockdown has been extended. And it's difficult because, we're afraid to touch anything. We're afraid to leave the house. We're wearing masks when we go out. Anything that comes inside the house, we're sanitizing it. How And so there's just a general sense of fear, and and right now it's still okay because we're contained. But when the lockdown ends and we step out, how are we going to deal with this fear? And how should we try and lead a balanced life towards this, without taking risks and being cautious at the same time?
The government, our healthcare professionals, and media told us repeatedly many times in the day that line is very important. Take care, but don't panic. That was the slogan. Take
Yeah,
care, but don't panic. So
don't
we
panic.
started learning to take care. So like you said, wash hands, wear masks, sanitize, clean everything that comes in the house. That is something we're going to do for the next few months, not just for the next few days. So it will become a part of our life. It's a little new right now. After some time, it will become a part of life. Wash hands, take care of whatever's coming in the house. That's
Mm.
the part of take care. So that's nothing. That's perfect. We have to do it. Now the second part was, but don't panic. So take care is outside, panic is inside. You
Mm.
see, take care is outside, panic is inside. We were creating thoughts of anxiety. What if this happens to me? What if it happens to someone in my family? What will happen to my work and business? What will happen to my child's exams? And also, we were surrounded by fear and anxiety of people around us. And also, it's a fear and anxiety vibration on the planet right now. So, we are surrounded by global vibrations of fear. So, right now, is the time for anyone who has not been studying, meditating, or doing yoga earlier. Now I think it will be mandatory. It's mandatory to be able to cross the next few months emotionally and mentally fit. See, we take care of physical health, but here we thought this is dependent on the situation.
Yeah.
The number of our mental health cases are on the rise in the last 1 month. Indian Psychiatric Association says almost 20% rise in India itself. So, that's another epidemic which will start, and that will be an invisible epidemic. So, number of domestic violence cases have increased.
Yeah.
So, you see how one crisis, if not managed right here, can lead to other crises. Like you said, couples want to separate. Now, this is a crisis. No, one crisis you couldn't manage, you created another crisis in your life. It's only because we were not taking care of our mind. So one line we need to change today: fear and anxiety is natural at this time. No, it's not. Because that's the line everybody's been saying as an affirmation for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Fear and anxiety is normal. Dar to natural hai. Dar to No, it's not. When there is a crisis, then calm is what is necessary. Power is what is necessary. Look at the soldiers who go to war. They are in the biggest crisis, but they are so calm, so sorted, so powerful. If they had to create fear and anxiety, they wouldn't be able to play their role right. So this is what is normal? Normal right now is calm, peace, and power. Because calm, peace, and power will keep us emotionally, mentally, physically strong and heal the planet. It will heal the planet. The planet needs healing energy. And healing energy comes only with stable minds. So that's our seva. That is our seva, which everyone has to do. Radiate right energy. And when we do this little lifestyle of first thing in the morning, affirmations, spiritual study, meditation, yoga, then this will become a normal way of thinking. I've been sharing with everybody since the last few days. It's a time of a new vocabulary. A vocabulary where our every thought and word is a high energy word. A vocabulary of prayers, meditation, blessings, and affirmation should be our vocabulary throughout the day. Everyone will get healed and the planet will get healed. Vocabulary. Today, what we're doing in the morning, high energy vocabulary. Every word is high energy. During the day, it's down. So it's 30 minutes high and 23 hours we're low. We won't be able to heal. We need a constant high energy vocabulary. And that's why if we create a few affirmations and repeat them many times in a day, then we will be able to create that vocabulary. And one more thing for fear and anxiety. We should not have a non-vegetarian diet right now. We should not. Because food is not just nutrients. Everybody looks at non-veg as only source of proteins. Food is
Yeah.
not just nutrients. Food is vibrations. तो जैसा अन्न वैसा मन. As is the food, so is the mind. So a non-vegetarian diet already has vibrations of fear and anxiety. So how can we consume fear and anxiety through food? Animal in the slaughterhouse, anger, hatred, fear, anxiety, helplessness, violence, death. Is this the energy we need to consume? Actually, never. But right now, definitely not. Definitely not. So change of diet is very important. Very important.
Yes, and what we've seen, this is how the whole coronavirus began, right? With animal cruelty, to be honest. This is really the genesis of the beginning. So it's very important. I think it's a time for so many of us around the world, so many humans to reconsider their diet. Sister Shivani, thank you for those wonderful words. I will begin this immediately, again with more gusto, because while we do begin it, sometimes you tend to fall off, so we constantly need to hear this again and again to make sure that we all of us stay on track. But we have some questions, and the best questions, we said that the most, we're going to be giving them some prizes, copies of your book
That's
as
sweet.
well being loved. So so we have a lot of questions coming in. um so we have, you know well, you've already answered this question, but Tarun Soni is asking, how do you start off your day, sister? What time do you wake up? Could you tell us a little bit about your morning routine?
I would wake up by 3:45, and 4 to 5 is my meditation time. Then that's my personal time after that. Then 7 to 8 is the study time because we all study together. Normally we go to the centers and we study 7 to 8. Now we're doing it online. But that 7 to 8 time is a study time of everyone at all the Brahma Kumari centers in the country and in the world at their 7 to 8 time. So that's our fixed time to study. So we are still doing that online. So, and then the rest of the day is seva in whatever way it has to happen that day.
Sister, we have a question by Manish. What is real happiness and how can one achieve it? This is a pretty lofty question, but
No, it's very simple. Real happiness means when you're feeling right here, right? You could be sitting in the most expensive car. You could be in the huge best house you wanted for years. But if you're not feeling right here, you're not happy, which is a fact that the object cannot give you happiness. Objects were designed to give physical comfort. So our home, our car, our new phone, our new clothes, these give us comfort. We somewhere programmed it and said this is giving happiness. No, it's not. But when we buy the new object, we create a nice thought, oh, I've bought what I wanted, and that creates feeling. So right now, all those objects are not giving any happiness because right now fear and anxiety is predominant. So happiness is not in objects. Happiness is not in achievements. We don't have to be happy after we achieve. We have to be happy and achieve, which means be happy on the journey during achievement. Happiness is very simple. Happiness is thinking right in every situation, which means we could be really happy even right now in a crisis if we were thinking right, if we were speaking right, if we were behaving right, then we could be the happiest right now. Because happiness is not dependent on situations. And that's why we said it could be crisis outside, calm inside. So happiness is only your response, your thoughts, your feelings and words in every situation. And every time we were creating the right thoughts, we were happy, we were calm. And every time we got wrong thoughts, we were irritated, angry. So happiness is health. Anger, hurt, irritation, fear, this is disease. So happiness is normal. Actually, that's a normal way of being. But because not taken care of, then all the emotional disease is what we have created. Hurt, anger, jealousy, comparison, competition, rejection, let down. This is all emotional disease. But today as a society, we call that normal. So we started labeling disease as a normal and we started looking for happiness. So we've just gone completely the other way around. We labeled disease as normal and we said, I want peace, I want happiness. So this is the time to recheck and change.
so, on that, what you just said, it's, right thought and wrong thought. So it's kind of like I'm thinking you're on a road, and you see a right and a left. Now you have Google Maps that tells you go right or go left. There's a direction that comes and we can follow it. But sometimes when we're taking a decision, or we're just in a circumstance and there's thoughts flooding our minds, we have to know, sort of, our antennas have to know, how do we pick up the right thought and how do we pick up the wrong thought? And it's very difficult in that moment to distinguish between the right and the wrong thought. So, what is a simple, or is there a simple way to distinguish between these right and wrong, so we can have the right thought, so we can take the right action, so we can have the right outcome? But it all begins with the right thought. But it's very difficult to tell what's right, what's wrong. How can we do that in a easy and simple way?
That was your first question this morning. Right is where there's an intention of giving, and wrong is when there is an intention of seeking. Because seeking will never keep you happy. Giving, which means whatever you're doing, even if you're working, you're doing business, do it with the pure intention of giving. Giving to people who are with you, giving to the society through the product that you are creating. If the intention is of giving, you're always going to be happy. And that's why look at the faces of the deities, because they're always like this. Look at the faces. Even their face today gives us peace and calm because they were givers. So only shift from seeking to giving, and there'll be nobody more happier than you. But if every time we are here like this seeking, then we can have everything and yet not be contented and happy. So only one line: shift from wanting, seeking to giving. Giving, even if you're doing business, not just seva and charity. Even if you're doing business, it's with the pure intention of what you're giving to the world through your business. See how everything will change.
So just the last question. How do you, and this is a good one, how do you avoid arguments and still solve problems in a relationship? Because often, we can be positive, but someone around us is pretty negative and they're coming at us. Then how do we, and we don't want to talk to them. We say we don't want to talk to, it's best to just go and lock myself up. But how can we still, and how can we manage this in relationships, especially I think now where you're in each other's space, you can't even go off somewhere far away to help
Right.
the situation calm down.
So when two people are talking, it can either be a dialogue or it can be an argument. So if the energies are right, then the same conversation is a dialogue. If the energies get disturbed, then the same dialogue becomes an argument. So at least one out of the two will have to keep their mind right. Then the dialogue will shift that side. But even if both get disturbed, that's when the volumes start rising, the words get to another frequency. That's when egos are talking to each other. It's not people talking to each other. It's two egos who are talking to each other. And that's why we said there's an ego clash, because only egos were talking, so egos will clash. So only if one person takes charge that time and says, this relationship is more important than my ego. Prioritize your relationships over ego. So there's nothing wrong in keeping quiet. There's nothing wrong in just apologizing. And most important, even if there's a difference of opinion, there should never be a time when we stop communication. You know how it happens. If there's an argument or a conversation, we just stop talking to each other for a few minutes, for a
Block
few
on
hours,
WhatsApp.
for a few days. Block on WhatsApp, that also. Oh yeah, I did not think of that. But yes, even within the house, we stop talking. And we think that when I'm normal inside, then I will talk. It's not when I'm normal inside, then I will talk. I will talk and become normal inside. That silence, communication, breakdown which we create, it's a depleter of energy for everybody living in that house. So always put your ego down, and when that argument or your conversation is over, next second come back to normal as if nothing had happened. Nothing had happened. Next second. It's very easy to do that. Just a new way of living. Next second, back to normal. Not after an hour or after a day. Next second, back to normal. So then you will start increasing your emotional health and the health of people around you.
Sister Shivani, thank you so much for joining us, for giving us your valuable time. It's been such a blessing and such an honor. And I have learned so much through this conversation. I'm sure all of the million people listening to you have also done that. So thank you for giving us these simple ways, and giving us a very simple solution which hopefully people will follow. And I will try and set that example by doing this myself first. Thank you, sister, for
Thank you so
joining us
much, and
once
keep
again.
creating your miracles, many more to happen.
Thank you,
Thank
sister.
you,
Thank you,
Om
Sister
Shanti.
Shivani. Thank